Herbalism for me is far more than just making medicine. It's about building a relationship. Whether I'm blending tinctures or foraging in the wild, every moment deepens my reverence for the plant world. It's a slow and intentional practice that has truly changed my life, and today I'm inviting you into that world. Welcome to my Herbal Apothecary tour. Guys, I'm so excited to have you in my safe space, my sanctuary. If you're new here, my name is Brianna. I'm an herbalist and I'm the founder of an herbal apothecary called Moss Medicine. And I create a wide variety of plant medicine and herbal education for you and for your loved ones to dive into the world of herbalism with ease and accessibility. That is the call on my life. I'm here to bring plant medicine to you in an easy and digestible way. And today I have you in my apothecary. I am genuinely so happy with how things are coming together in here. I still have a few aesthetic things to do. As you can see, we have a wood piece and we have a white piece, but you know, I'm just so grateful to have a space, a designated space in my home where I can come and just display my medicine, have all my books, have all my tinctures, and really just come in here and vibe out. So I think I'm gonna start every video with what's in my cup because I'm always sipping on some herbs. And today in my mushroom cup, I have some passion flower tea. I love to focus a lot on nervous system regulation because we can't have the life that we truly desire with a dysregulated nervous system. We're unable to truly hold everything that we ask for with a dysregulated nervous system. And even outside of that, when you are dysregulated, your organs, your body, everything is just not functioning at its highest. And so I love to focus on a lot of nerve calming, nerve relaxing herbs. It's also a mild sedative. So if you are taking sedative medication, I would not recommend having any passion flower in your cup. However, it is very, very great for most people. And so that's what I'm drinking on today. Let's get into this tour. I'm so excited. Okay, so we're gonna start on this side of my apothecary because first of all, I got this beautiful wood piece. I just could not stop myself. I love furniture. You guys will never believe $50 on Facebook Marketplace. So I said, yes, this sounds amazing. So what I really love is I have this like display case and I just thought it would be really nice to display some of my favorite herbs right here. And so I have my milky oat tops, turkey tail, mugwort, holy basil, ashwagandha, Miss Passion Flower, shatavari, spearmint, fennel, goldenrod, milk thistle, and black haw. So right over here on this little shelf, I have amber glass bottles full of tinctures that I sell at my apothecary Moss Medicine. And storing your tinctures in amber glass bottles is vital to maintain the integrity of the medicine and to make sure that it stays potent long term. A lot of people will say you have to keep your herbs also in amber glass jars, and I do agree if you have direct light, but this room gets very dark. And because I have an herbal apothecary and I'm always making medicine, I'm really running through these herbs very quickly. And so nothing stays on the shelf for a long time. Nothing is getting degraded over time. I run through these herbs very quickly. And I really just like having plants and obviously Moss Medicine. My friend Caroline, this is our first photo shoot when I first launched Moss Medicine, and this is my baby. So now we are on our bookshelf here, and this is just a few of the books that I have displayed. I love being able to reach for herbalism books from a wide variety of authors. I think it's really important to have a lot of different perspectives. Everybody really does their herbalism walk very differently. So having well-known, respected herbalist herbalism books that I can refer to is just great, and it really helps my practice expand. So this is definitely one of my favorite herbalism books. It's called The Way of Herbs by Michael Tierra. This is my first herbalism book ever. I just really like the book. I think it gives you a lot of information about herbs. It goes into the common name, the family, the energies, the systems, the constituents, all the things that you really need to know. It's a great starter book. So I always recommend, if you're starting with herbalism, try to get a book like this that gives you pretty much all the herbs in the Western herbalism world that can really help you. I also really think it's valuable to have books from every lineage. So this book right here, African Holistic Health, yeah, this is a great one. A lot of things that are in here are just not spoken about in the Western herbalism world, and we gotta get clear on things, you know? So I think it's important to have books like this that sometimes can say controversial things, but also have a really grounded foundation. It speaks about a lot. Like, it doesn't just go into herbs. It speaks about like the holistic aspect of herbalism, and holistic means mind, body, and spirit. And so it gets into everything that I feel Western herbalism misses a lot of the times, and the author does not care to like spare anything, and I really like that. So this is a book that I always recommend to people. And of course, Ayurveda as well. As a woman and as an herbalist, I like to focus my practice a lot on women's health as well. So my two focuses as an herbalist are women's health and nervous system regulation, because those are things that I focus on in my personal life. And so the Ayurvedic Guide to Fertility is really great. This is great if you're trying to conceive, but also really great if you just want to remain fertile. And I think fertility has so many spiritual aspects to it as well. If you're not fertile in your womb, there's a chance you might not be fertile in other aspects of your life, and there's like a lack of flow in your body that needs to be released. And so I think it's great to have books like this to add to the perspective. And now we're over here. This is like more of the herbal health professional type book. We have the medical herbalism books. These are a series of books for like health professionals. I really like this one. It's by Jill Sansbury. It gives you just a wide variety of uses for herbs, but also like introducing them into maybe more of a clinical sense, and definitely more of a medical sense if that's something that you do. There are a lot of doctors, and I've been getting a lot of doctors reaching out to me wanting to incorporate herbs into their lives. And so books like this and like this really incorporate herbalism and, you know, the Western world in a way that makes it balanced. I don't think that pharmaceutical medicine is bad, because the root of pharmaceutical medicine is plants. And so I think we really have to, in the future, merge the two. I think there are important aspects to, you know, the Western medicine world, and also really important aspects to herbalism that are missing from the story. And I think they both need to be intertwined together. Down here, I have some tinctures that I'm tincturing for my business. These are 1 gallon tinctures, and this is like the blend of tinctures that I create within Moss Medicine. So we have our parasite cleanse, our soursop, our sinus support. We have Candida cleanse back there. Down to Mars, which is an anxiety relieving tincture that I absolutely love. Womb Wonder, Melomoon. Most of my tinctures are not stored in here. Most of them are stored in my storage room. So if you guys want to buy any medicine from me, you can find that on my website, mossmedicine.com. Okay, we've made it to the other half of my apothecary. Now, not every single herb is displayed because, you know, transparently I need to buy more gallon jars. I don't have enough jars for all of the herbs currently. Also, I don't have enough space to store them currently, but we're working on that. These are the herbs that I'm constantly using. That's why I felt the need to keep them on display. It's not just about display, it's really about space for me. Oregon Grape is the base of our Candida Cleanse tincture. I run through a gallon of these a week because I'm always making sure I have back stock. That is our top selling tincture. Just having it in this jar is easy for me to like pour and make the tinctures. It's easy for me to, you know, restock this and get rid of all those extra boxes. Another herb that I run through very quickly is Vitex, also known as Chaste tree. But Vitex is a hormone regulating, a hormone balancing herb. It's actually a berry. And so this is the base of our Womb Wonder tincture. It's just really great for normalizing hormones. And so I always have tons of Vitex in stock, and I'm always running through this jar very quickly. Licorice root is another one of my babies. I love me some licorice root. This is an amazing demulcent, so that means it's going to nourish the mucous membranes in your body. Mucous membranes are like the lining of your stomach, the lining of your mouth, the lining of your nose, any place that's really soft and tissuey that can oftentimes get irritated. She's going to soothe you in so many ways. This is where the taste of licorice comes from. You don't need to sweeten your tea when you have licorice. So for people who tend to really love adding sugar and honey, I love honey too. But sometimes you want to just drink your tea as is. If you want a tad bit of sweetness, add a little smidge of licorice root, if you like the flavor that is. And I guarantee you it's going to elevate your tea experience because it adds just a natural sweetness and it doesn't elevate your blood sugar. Okay, my hair is up. We got the table laid out. My gloves are on, and we're gonna do a bit of an apothecary restock. Let's start with Echinacea because I wanna talk to you guys about sourcing your herbs and the importance of making sure that you get your herbs from great places. I have Echinacea right here. And I sourced this from a farm called Oshala Farms in Applegate Valley, Oregon. Now, when I tell you guys, every time I open a package from this company, you don't even have to get far. The smell of the herbs just like jumps out of the box. It's quite insane. So to me, sourcing your herbs from quality farms is a no-brainer. You are definitely gonna spend a bit more, but the quality speaks for itself. When you get your herbs in from quality farms, you can see the color of the herb. It just looks so beautiful and vibrant. This is one of the herbs that I use in our Candida Cleanse tincture because of its antimicrobial, antibacterial properties, but it's also known as an herb that's really great for using at the onset of a cold. So if you have any colds that you get that itch in your throat, or you get like that itching in your nose and you feel like a cold is coming on, Echinacea is amazing to take at the onset. So this is not an herb that you would take during your sickness. It's more of an herb that you take right before you get sick, and you use it in steady doses, consistent doses, so that you prevent your cold over time. If you're new to the herbalism world, get some Echinacea on your shelves. Now, as you guys see, I am filling up 1 gallon jars, and I buy my herbs by the pound. And that's because I'm an herbalist and I'm creating a lot of medicine all of the time. But if you are just starting your herbal apothecary at home, you just need like maybe 1 pint jars or 1 quart jars if you want to get a little bit bigger. Or if you're going into an herbal apothecary, just tell them I want 2 to 4 ounces of an herb. This stuff is expensive, okay? When you're making tea, you only need about a tablespoon of an herb at a time. So don't overwhelm yourself. So next herb we're gonna do is Valerian Root. And I actually grew Valerian Root in my garden last season. And so I have a piece of Valerian Root that I processed. Valerian Root is an amazing herb for relaxing the nervous system, and I definitely think that a lot more people should put some respect on Miss Valeriana officinalis. It's a sedative, and so it really does help calm. It's also an antispasmodic, which means that it calms your muscles. A lot of us hold tension in our muscles. So, when you're really overwhelmed and stressed out, your shoulders get tense and you kind of clench them. At least that's what I do. Like when I'm seriously stressed, I find that my shoulders go really, really high up and I get a lot of pain in my neck. Valerian Root, what it does is it's an antispasmodic, so it goes in and it really helps to calm muscle tension, which is related to a lot of stress and overwhelm. So it's great for anxiety, people that have problems sleeping because of high stress. And I really, really love Valerian Root. A lot of people stay away because the smell is so pungent, but I just really love the smell. I think I love this plant so much because this is one of the plants that I started with, started my herbalism path with. And so I just have so much reverence for this plant, and I think it's so powerful. Using it over time really does help to regulate your nervous system if you have any issues with that. What I'm gonna do is take a bowl. This is strictly used for herbalism. Just so you guys know, I'm not baking and making cakes and this stuff. And I'm gonna pour this out. Now this is the herbs that I would like to be using first. And so I'm not gonna just put new herbs on top, you know? We have Valerian Root from Oshala Farms. I have yet to open this, but guys, it was potent when I opened the box, and I know how Valerian Root smells. And so I was like, wow, this Valerian Root smells exactly like it did in my garden. Beautiful. I think if you're beginning your apothecary at home, start with the plants that you have an affinity towards. So meaning whatever plants that you naturally gravitate towards should be the plants that you start your at-home apothecary with, because I think a lot of people see people like me, other herbalists that have such a wide variety of plants, and they just want to get herbs that we all talk about. But what's really special about herbalism is developing a relationship with the plant and the plant kingdom. And I think when you take your time and you work with herbs that you naturally gravitate towards, and you start to break down the, you know, constituents, you get into the materia medica of each and every herb, it builds for more of a special experience. This is kind of loud. So that's 1 pound right there. That's 1 pound of Valerian Root. And then we're gonna just top it with the previous. And then we're really gonna top it with my homegrown. I love to see it at the top. So that's Valerian Root. Yeah, so if you're starting your apothecary at home, I recommend getting a piece of paper or a designated notebook for each herb that you introduce into your apothecary, and break down the materia medica of every herb. So if you really want to take this herbalism path seriously, you have to know the constituents of the plants, the active chemicals that are in the plants, so that first of all, you can speak about them in depth, and so that you know how to formulate things together, what's synergistic, what makes no sense to pair together. You need to know if they're heating, if they're cooling, how they really interact with the human body. And you can become an amazing herbalist if you take your time. So the herbs that I started with were Valerian Root, calendula, which is amazing. I don't really have calendula in stock, but I grow calendula in abundance in my garden. So I started with Valerian Root, calendula, lots of mints, so spearmint, catnip. I also definitely started with Echinacea as well. I tried to get one herb for every body system, and I think that's a great place to start. If you get 1 or 2 herbs for each body system that you can like learn about in more depth, I think you will become a better herbalist that way. And you can learn how plants interact with the body and how you can pair them best together. So if you're focusing on liver, I would potentially get plants like dandelion, burdock, because those are plants that have an affinity towards cleansing and, you know, the liver, which is the function of the liver. And if you're looking for plants that are, you know, have an affinity towards, I don't know, the heart, maybe you would get plants like hawthorn, which is a great cardiovascular plant. If you're maybe looking for plants that have an affinity towards the lungs, I would go mullein, which is where we are going to focus on next, restocking next. And so it's great to start with body systems because you wanna become really well versed in this thing. if you want to become really well versed in this thing, you have to know the human body. I think a lot of people miss that out in herbalism. They want to create a lot of medicine, which is great, but if you don't have a true knowledge of how these herbs interact with the human body, and then you're creating medicine for other people, I think it's incredibly irresponsible and a bad stewardship of this path. And so I don't think everybody should just be making medicine. I think we should really take the time to become well-versed, study, read books. I always tell people get books because you don't know the path until you read it through the lens of a lot of other people. I think education is important. I am not one of those people that are like, I'm in school right now for biology, guys. I'm in school for biology. I'm getting my master's in clinical herbal medicine. So I take education seriously. And it's funny because at one point, like, I did not take education seriously at all. But when you find a path that you love, you really want to dive into every aspect of it. So read clinical trials, read books, get really well versed, create a materia medica, go out in the world and look for plants that are around you. So you're going to want to look for, if you live in like the Northeast, which is where I'm from, New York, you want to go look in places like Prospect Park, Central Park. I can only really speak for Prospect Park because I'm more of a Brooklyn girl. But Prospect Park is amazing. If you just go into the bush in Prospect Park, you're going to find cleavers, you're going to find mugwort, you're going to find, especially around this time, you're going to find nettle. Like, there's lots of herbs that are living in the bushes in Prospect Park. If you live in North Carolina, you guys, North Carolina is such a lush land and there's so much going on there. And so, just go into your local parks and try to find areas that haven't really been walked into. So we're talking like off the beaten path, and find herbs that are around you and start to learn them. Take them home, make teas with them, process them, learn how to process them, and create a materia medica designated for that herb and enjoy it. Drink it in a tea, read about it, and read about it in a wide variety of books. And before you know it, if you do that with, 2 herbs a month, at the end of the year, you're going to be well versed in this thing. You're going to be well versed in 2 herbs a month times 12, 24 herbs. That's a lot of herbs that you can speak to, that you can formulate with, that you can, place into a wide variety of body systems. And so, yes, that is a few tips that I have for those beginning herbalists. I have been there. It's exciting to start, but just take this path seriously and get your education, okay? Because we need educated herbalists. We don't need people that are just taking it not seriously. We need people that are educated, that can actually really offer a hand and help folks that are in need, because a lot of people want to get into the herbalism route. A lot of people want to learn about herbalism. A lot of people want to use herbal medicine as an alternative pathway. And we need people that are educated, that know the body, that can really help folks. Plants are very powerful. And if we're not utilizing plants in the right way, meaning educating ourselves on the active constituents and also knowing what plants don't work well for the body, we have the potential of hurting a lot more people. Hurting rather than helping. And so don't just use TikTok and YouTube as a source of education. While they are a source of education, pay for a course, pay for the books, and invest. Okay, so we just restocked Mullein Leaf. That was my little TED Talk. I think YouTube is my platform because I'm very long-winded. So I got this Mullein Leaf from Mountain Rose Herbs. And so this is definitely a place that I go to last on my list. This is not the first source of herbs that I would source, just because yeah, I just know that there's higher quality herbs, but certain herbs I just haven't been able to find in bulk. And so then I'll get them from Mountain Rose Herbs. And so mullein leaf is an amazing herb that has an affinity towards the lungs. So as you see, it's super fluffy. And some people say that if you're out in the wild and you see mullein, you can use it as like toilet paper because it's that like fluffy. And it has, so that means it has a lot of mucilage in the plant. So it's great for moisturizing the membranes in our bodies. And that's why it's really great for the lungs. You can definitely drink it in a tea. I don't really make tinctures with this because I don't think it's really great for tincturing. I think mullein is great for teas and overnight infusions, which is a more potent version of a tea. And so I also have this in our herbal smokes, but those will be being discontinued very soon. But mullein is an amazing herb. And I think this is a great starter herb. It's very gentle on the body. It's also really great if you have any coughs, like dry coughs, because it's moistening. Things like bronchitis, it's really good for. So we love mullein. Next herb I'm going to restock is Damiana. And Damiana is a great intro herb. A lot of people love Damiana because it's known as an aphrodisiac, but really it's a nervine. So it's really soothing on the nerves. I think that's the primary action of this herb. It's a nervine. But I also love Damiana because it is great if you have low libido. Damiana is really great if you have anxiety. It is great for enhancing the mood. I think it's just a really lovely herb that can be used in a wide variety of ways. A lot of people smoke Damiana, and Damiana is in quite a few of our herbal smokes. And she's also in a lot of our tinctures. This is in our Down to Mars tincture because it's great for soothing anxiety. So Damiana is a great intro herb if you want to get into herbalism. I think you can start with Damiana because it's just a nice, pleasant, calming herb. And I love Damiana. Damiana typically grows in like more dry places. So I have yet to meet her in the flesh, meaning I haven't yet to see Damiana growing in the wild. I live in Florida, so I'm almost positive Damiana grows in Florida. I just have yet to run into her. I think you can find Damiana more in places like Arizona, maybe New Mexico, because this plant really loves to be in dry places, if I'm not mistaken. But if you meet Damiana, it has these like really beautiful yellow flowers, which I think speaks to the beauty and the mood enhancing and just the calming nature of Damiana. So really, really love this plant. I'm gonna do one more plant. I really wanna restock white willow bark. And white willow bark is actually super cool. This is an analgesic, meaning it's a pain relieving herb. And this is the original source of aspirin. This is in our Melomoon tincture because it helps with cramps. If you have cramps, if you have any pain in the body, it's really, really great for pain. If you have arthritis, headaches, migraines, things that you typically would use aspirin for, you could use white willow bark. And I think that's quite amazing. I believe that it's very cooling on the body as well. So anything that's, when we say cooling, anything that's like inflamed. So pain is typically heat in the body. That's why, you know, pain hurts, because we say that pain brings heat. And so when you're in pain, you want a cooling herb to soothe your pain. And so that is what white willow bark does. And its scientific name is Salix alba. So these are the herbs that we restocked today. We got mullein, echinacea, Damiana, Valerian root, and white willow bark. And I have quite a few more to go, but I think I'm gonna do that a little bit later, and I have a lot of tinctures to make today. But these herbs are all so amazing. If you want to begin to introduce herbs to your herbal apothecary, I think these are all great starting points to get more well-versed into the world of herbalism. So that wraps up my apothecary tour. I want to thank you guys for joining me. This was super fun to do. If this video was helpful for you, leave a comment below. If you are a seasoned herbalist, let the new herbalist below know what herbs you started your practice with, or maybe if you're new, what herbs are you working with these days? Let me know some of the body systems that you're utilizing it for. Let me know some of the benefits, and just share some herbal knowledge below for people who will come across this video who really want to get into it. Share some places that you buy your herbs. Just share some resources below for all of us to share, bask, and revel in herbal medicine. And if you want more content like this, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to find out more about me, more about moss medicine, the products that I create, feel free to check out my website, mossmedicine.com.